Hello, my name's Deb Lees and I'm the current convener of the Education and Training Committee. I'm delighted to be presenting the E&T contribution to the Virtual Teaching Conference today. And I would like to give my thanks to everyone who's been involved in creating the presentation in one way or another. I would also like to say a very big thank you to everyone who has contributed to the Virtual Teaching Conference in any way, whether by presenting, helping create a presentation, or somewhere behind the scenes. It's been a tremendous amount of work. So, on with our presentation. The RSCDS Teaching Certificate is very familiar to us. It's been around a while, and for many of us it is the route into Scottish country dance teaching. The Core Training for Instructors, or CTI, is much more recent, introduced in 2021. We do have some trainees already started on the course, but what's it all about? What's the difference between the teaching certificate and the CTI? And how to choose if you're looking at doing some Scottish country dance teacher training? We're going to have a look at a comparison of the courses. For each course, we'll look at how the qualification is awarded, who might do it, and what the purpose of the course is, how it's delivered, where it might happen, how much it might cost, how long it lasts, who will lead the course, and finally, where to get more information. The teaching certificate is a formal examination route comprising 5 separate units with an exam at each stage apart from Unit 4. So Unit 1, the written paper, Unit 2 is the practical dancing exam, Unit 3 your first teaching exam, Unit 4 the record of teaching practice, which isn't examined but is reviewed by an examiner, and finally Unit 5 the final practical teaching exam. The Core Training for Instructors has no formal exams or dancing assessment at all. But there is an expectation that the trainee will be able to dance rhythmically, will be familiar with the manual, and will know and understand the steps, foot positions and formations. The trainee will receive regular feedback from a trainer, and it's the trainer who decides when a trainee is proficient at instructing their class. There is no final exam, as I said. But there is a video of the final class which is sent to the RSCDS office and which may be moderated to ensure that some consistency in how the trainers are making their decisions. Next we'll look at who the courses are aimed at. The teaching certificate is the route for those who plan to teach the full range of classes, including more advanced classes, demonstration groups or competitions. It will appeal to those who like to learn with other people, to benefit from learning from each other and from discussion with the group. It might also suit people who prefer to do their training within a clear, structured time frame, whether at a residential course or over a number of scheduled weekends or weekly sessions. The CTI is clearly aimed at people who want to teach general or social classes, and it's not for teachers of more advanced dancers. It may suit people who really don't feel an exam is for them, who would find that quite stressful or might be concerned about meeting the requirements of Unit 2 personal dancing. It will also appeal to someone who would like to learn at their own pace and not be constrained by a fixed time period, so they can take the time they need to develop and consolidate their skills. It might suit people who have limited time, who cannot afford the time to attend a 2-week residential course or additional teaching certificate classes in addition to their regular class. So time might be a factor. And some people very much prefer to learn on the job, and CTI has been described as an apprenticeship approach, where you learn as part of your everyday practice rather than within a separate course. So, the teaching certificate, as I've said earlier, is to prepare candidates to teach the full range of classes. In particular, this will include teachers who, once they have some experience, may want to go on to teach beyond their local area at day, weekend or residential schools, at home or further afield. And some teachers, once qualified and with additional experience, will progress to become assessors for medal tests or DAA, adjudicate at festivals, or maybe go on to be a tutor or examiner themselves. So anyone who wants to go further with their teaching will need to do the teaching certificate. The CTI is very much about the range of classes that could be described as general or social classes, where the main emphasis is likely to be on social dancing with less focus on refining steps and formations, as opposed to a more advanced class which, while still sociable, will have a much greater focus on improving the more technical aspects. The intention is to support dancers who may be asked to take on or help out with a social or general class. The CTI will give instructors of these classes the skills they need to prepare and teach a successful, smooth-running class which everyone can enjoy. So how is it delivered? The teaching certificate, Unit 1, self-study in your own time. And you're looking at the manual, preferably with guidance from an RSCDS teacher. Units 2 and 3 are both face-to-face classes. Unit 4 is your teaching practice in the 2-year gap, and followed by another face-to-face class with a tutor. And the courses need to have a maximum of 12 candidates in the class. As I said, the CTI is very much more an apprenticeship, and the trainee works with a trainer in their own class. There's nothing special set up. The whole course can be completed virtually, online or by video if the trainer and trainee live far apart, enabling access to training for those who cannot easily get to a teaching certificate course due to distance or time factors. The trainer and trainee will meet up at the start, either in person or virtually, to go over what is expected. It's between the two of them to decide what the trainee's aims will be, what they want to get out of it, and very importantly, what their class wants to get out of it. The trainer will visit the class periodically or watch a video of the class and discuss it with the trainee and give feedback and review progress. So everything is done within that trainee's class. In order to have some structure to development within the CTI, there is a checklist of core skills, and the trainee must demonstrate competence in these skills as appropriate for their class. So where are the courses held? So the teaching certificate courses are generally either residential, for example at a summer school or at TAC, or a branch may organise a course locally, or a teachers' association may do so. The class is made up of the other candidates, with students coming in for Unit 3 and 5 exams to help out and be a class for the exam. The CTI, in contrast, uses the trainee's own class, or a class where they may help out, or a class that may be borrowed to get them some experience with teaching. They are real classes, which does mean that the class must be supportive of the trainee doing the course, including giving consent to the video element. So a quick look at the costs as at 2021. For the teaching certificates, there's a separate cost for each unit, and then any additional costs associated with the running of the course or any residential costs and travel costs, they all need to be factored in. The cost for the CTI is generally just the course cost. As it uses the trainees class, there is unlikely to be any or much additional cost incurred. So the course duration, the time element. For the teaching certificate, there's a notional 65 hours for completion of the taught parts. Unit 1 will have its own study time, so that is as much as you need. And Unit 4 will be a minimum 2 years between completion of Part 1, the Unit 1, 2 and 3, and it includes at least 6 hours of teaching, preferably more varied, with a mentor involved to support you. So quite a time commitment to complete the teaching certificate. The CTI is quite different in that it should take a maximum of 2 years. It may be shorter depending on many factors, including the level of knowledge and skill that the trainee starts with. It's likely to be much less of a time commitment than the teaching certificate, especially as the travel and potential residential aspect is removed. If you want any further details on the duration of courses, that can be found on the website. On completion of Part 1, or Units 2 and 3, the interim certificate is awarded, with the candidate receiving the full teaching certificate on completion of Units 4 and 5. The CTI trainee will receive a statement of proficiency as an instructor once they've completed. So the terminology there is quite different to reflect the different expectations of the courses, the rationale behind them, and the type of classes that will be taught once the course is completed. So who leads each course? Well, for the teaching certificate, you need a tutor for Units 2, 3 and 5, an experienced RSCDS teacher who has preferably done a tutor's course. And then a mentor for Unit 4, also an experienced RSCDS teacher, and a candidate can choose their own mentor. A trainer for the CTI is an experienced RSCDS teacher, and we ask that they do a trainer training course before taking on a trainee. The courses are online via Zoom, run by the Education and Training Committee and led by a course leader. Each course is around 6 hours over 2 to 3 sessions. The purpose of the course is to ensure the trainer has a good understanding of the ethos and aims of the CTI because, as you will have seen, it's quite different to the teaching certificate. We also want to ensure that there is a level of consistency in how the trainers approach their role and how the core skills are developed and competency assessed. And as I said before, trainers' decisions may be moderated to ensure that the expected standards for CTI are maintained over time. We hope that this presentation has given you an insight into these two different routes for training to teach Scottish country dancing and maybe whetted your appetite to find out more. There is information on the website, so if you are keen to develop new teachers in your local area or know someone who is interested in teaching, do have a look at the two options. Or maybe you are interested in becoming a CTI trainer or a teaching certificate tutor yourself to help us develop teachers and instructors who have the right skills for the classes that we need them to teach. Do get in touch. We're looking forward to hearing from you.